Hi, I'm Kieran Dalton, and welcome to the Kieran Dalton channel on YouTube. I'm gonna drink instead of clapping, because yeah, because I want to. So we had a big storm here where I live, and there was hail. I've never seen so much hail. It looked like it was snowing. It was just white everywhere. Um, it was just white everywhere. It was like a Dave Matthews Band audience. Anyway, because they have a white fan. But anyway, so the hail damaged my roof. My roof leaked in my living room. It wasn't a massive hole; it was just a tiny hole, and water like just slowly leaked in my lounge room all night. And when I woke up, everything was flooded. Like not flooded, everything was wet and broken. Like my internet was broken, my intercom was broken, TV broken, all my game console was broken, my carpet was like really soaking wet. Don't worry, this isn't a charity video. I'm not asking for money. You know, if I was asking for money, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on TikTok live. I would have like I'd be like crying. I would have like a fake doll with like a deformed head or something, and I would say I had some type of made up disease. I need money for the operation, but I'm not asking for money. I've got insurance. It was a smart thing to do years ago, but I got content insurance. Strata, because I live in apartments, covering the rest. Yeah, but so I'm gonna get it all back. So I'm breaking even. But you know, insurance is a weird thing because to get your money, you got to give them money. You got to give them their SS. And no other business does that. It's like, oh, I need money because all my stuff got broken. All right, we'll give you money, but you got to give us money. Like no one else does that. It'd be like if I go to the doctors, like a surgeon, and the surgeon's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I'm dying," and the surgeon's like, "Well, I can save you. I can save your life, but before I save your life, I need you to take a life. Here's a picture of my ex-wife. You can get rid of her however you want. It can be painful or quick. It's your call, but I can't save your life until you take hers." It's kind of like that. It's crazy. No other business does that. Drinking $1 Coles Cola. It's pretty good. I did a video on this if before, but yeah. Sorry. But yeah, so to get my roof fixed, I have to use like Strata organized it, and you can only use the contractors that Strata sends out. And well, man, the guy that Strata hired to come fix my roof, uh, it was crazy. Firstly, it's annoying that like tradies always assume that you're home, like they just ring you out of the blue and be like, oh yeah, I'm in the area, are you home? I'm like, it's 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. No, I'm at work. It's like they're kind of like that friend you had in high school who would ring you up in the middle of the night, like at or like yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and be like, "Hey man, are you up?" And I went, "No, not really. It's 2 o'clock on a school night, 2 a.m. on a school night. Like, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, man." He's like, "What's wrong? Just tell me what's wrong so I can go back to sleep." He's like, it was a funny joke on Letterman. Yeah, I thought you saw it and you would have laughed. You know, what was the joke? And he's like, oh, I can't remember. And like, oh, so this was a point of wasted phone call. And it's like, oh, I'll write the joke down next time. So next time David Letterman did a joke, he wrote it down and he ring you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though like David Letterman finished hours ago, and he'd be like, read you the joke and it's not funny, and be like, oh, thanks for waking me up. And he's like, oh, it was funny if you watched the show. And I went, yeah, thanks. I mean, it's annoying. They always like, we got smoke alarms in the apartment, and twice a year the smoke alarm people come and change the batteries and test to see if they work. I don't mind them because they give you a letter a couple of weeks before they come, so you can take time off work to wait from. And like, what a great job that would be! Just walking into an apartment, changing the battery of the smoke alarm, and they got this little gun thing what smoke comes out of, and it sets the alarm off to see if it works. The guy who does mine, he stinks like cigarettes. Like you can smell the smell of cigarettes coming up the stairs when he enters the building. It's crazy. He doesn't even need that gun. He can just stand under the smoke alarm, and the cigarette smoke which is on him would set it off. Probably that's what he probably got the job. In the interview, they'd be like, "Oh, so do you have any qualifications?" And he's like, "No." And they're like, "Do you have any skills?" And he's like, "Well, I can set smoke alarms off by just standing underneath them." And the company's like, "Wow, that's amazing. You're hired." And when the guy leaves, my house smells like cigarette. It smells like a pokies room in the early thousands. I remember in the early thousands when they used to shove all the smokers in the pokies room. Now there's got to be like ventilated and pretty much outside kind of thing to smoke. But yeah, all the smokers used to go in there, and whenever I have to go in there with my friend, they're like, "Oh," my friend's like, "Oh yeah, I just got the feature," and I'm like, "Well, cool. I've just got lung cancer from all this secondhand smoke while watching you play the more chilly poker machine." No, anyway, Strata hired a roof guy. I'm not gonna say his business or anything, but I caught a train to work. I'm on the train home. I live like a 10-minute walk from the station. It's ridiculously close. And he rings me up and goes, "Yeah, I'm outside your house. Are you home?" And I went, "I will be in 10 minutes. And he's like, I just go to another job." And he drove off. He hung up, and I guess he drove off. And I'm thinking, is he coming to my house after that job, or is that it for the day? I don't know. So I'm there I just got home in my house. I'm changing the kitty litter. That's what I do when I come home. I always change the kitty litter first. Then I get a phone call, and then I answer, and it goes, "Yeah, it's his name wasn't Steve, but what his name was a pretty common white man's name." It's like, "Yeah, it's Steve from the roofing. I'm downstairs." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, so I walk downstairs, and he's there. And he's like, I went, "Oh, sorry, you didn't press the intercom, did you?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Oh, sorry, it broke. It broke in the rain. Everything in my living room broke because of the rain." And he's like, shakes his head like it's my fault. And he walks into my house, and I'm showing him the damage, like the watermark on the roof and where the carpet's stained. And I'm telling him that, and he just interrupts straight away. He goes, "Do you have a downpipe outside?" And I went, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll be back. I just get my ladder. Do you have anything to keep the door open?" Because I've got a security door, the building locks. And I'm like, look around, and I'm like, "Oh, probably." And he picks up my little snake thing, which I put underneath doors to stop the heat from entering or escaping. He goes, "How about this?" And I went, "Yeah, they can use that." Then he walks downstairs, comes back a couple minutes later with a ladder. Just walks in the apartment and just throws the snake. He doesn't even place it down gently. He just chucks it. I'm like, "Oh, that's a bit weird." Then he walks on my balcony. My balcony is pretty clean. There is stuff on my balcony, like a cat bed and a couple of pots and stuff. And they were where he needed to put his ladder. Firstly, it wasn't even that much stuff. And secondly, it's there because I didn't know he was coming. And he starts kicking it really aggressively with his foot. And I'm like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" He's just kicking all my shit around. I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty rude." Then he puts his ladder down and he climbs up. And he's on the roof for 4 minutes maybe, and he comes down. He's like, "All right, so here's your problem. All the water on your roof is directed into your downpipe. Your downpipe's the only downpipe on this roof. And what happens when it hails heaps? The hail all goes down there and freezes together and blocks the pipe, and the water can't go through. So the water comes back up, washes out, and washes into your building, into your house. There's nothing I can do. I might be able to put a little filter on top of it, but that won't do anything." And I went, "Oh, so every time it hails hard, water's just going to come in my house." And he goes, "Pretty much." Then he just grabs his ladder and walks out. Pretty much was the last thing he said to me. He didn't even say goodbye. I'm like, what the hell? And when he rung me and goes, so he was in my house for like 12 minutes, and some of that 12 minutes was him going downstairs to get the ladder. And like, I remember when he hung up the phone, he goes, he's going to do another job. And he wasn't at the other job very fast, very long. So I assume maybe he just did the same thing. He just goes to every job and say, I can't do the work. And I mean, it was so bad. I was like, it was almost like, is this a hidden camera show? Like, it is like, I'm standing there confused. Like, is Hamish and Andy gonna come in? And like Hamish and Andy are two popular Australian celebrities. I got nothing against them. I can imagine them hosting a hidden camera show. They come in, I'm there standing confused. They come in, and Hamish comes in, and they, like hidden camera show host. They always do that. They always run in like pointing. And he is the world's worst tradie. Don't worry, Kieran. We've got the new tradie, and we're fixing your roof tomorrow. Ben and Liam from Nova, they'd probably be pretty good hidden camera hosts as well. But anyway, that's nothing to do with anything. That's my story. I don't deal with too many tradies. There's probably worse tradies out there. You hear stories about tradies shitting in your bathroom and it stinks for like hours, or if not half a day. Just all that freaking chocolate milk and sausage rolls I drink. So this guy didn't crap in my house, thankfully, but he didn't do anything. So yeah, so I know there'd be like worse stories, like maybe tradies charging you like a ridiculous amount of money. This guy didn't charge me anything. He's charged strata, which I guess I pay for, but not straight away. I pay quarterly. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please press the like button. Please subscribe. Please comment whatever horror tradie stories you have. Anyway, thanks for watching. Kieran Dorton. Now have another drink. Out.